we've got the vibes. It's the Tage night. It's the gold medal night. It's honoring him and celebrating the gold medal team. And Jack Eichel's going to be in town. So, like, that had a lot of juice to it. But the trade rumors that hit the old internet before the game really probably ratcheted things up. So there are multiple insiders reporting that the Sabres are hot on the trail of Robert Thomas, who is, the best potential player that would be moved at the deadline?
Yes.
And I want to add a number of years to that. When's the last time a player of this caliber were moved at the deadline? Doesn't happen that much.
Usually it's an offseason move.
I mean, the idea was multiple first-round picks. I said to you yesterday, if they traded 2 firsts, and you wake up and find out they trade their next 2 firsts for Robert Thomas, how do you feel? And we all said, like, awesome. And the report is it might be the equivalent of 3 firsts. Does that mean a couple guys that are already drafted and a first or whatever? It's my favorite thing that happened yesterday, Joe, was fans of both the Red Wings and the Lightning reacting to the rumor that the Sabres might get Robert Thomas. And they both these fan accounts, like we have, our fan accounts and people that watch, both of them, one of them was like the Grind Line or something like that. Big Red Wings account was, this cannot happen. You cannot let Buffalo do this. You got to do this instead. And I'm sitting here thinking, you're telling me we've lived long enough to see another team afraid of the Sabres making a move?
They're afraid.
That's right.
They're afraid.
I got Lightning fans saying if the Sabres get this done, you have to you have to have a counter strike ready. What?
Yeah.
It is March 4th, and the other teams are concerned? What a time. And then my other favorite
the good
thing,
teams. The good teams are concerned.
The good teams.
It's not far off of what I thought yesterday about when Montreal was being connected to him. Why? That's a long-term potential rivalry. They're good and young. I want to let Montreal get Robert Thomas for 5 years. I don't want that to happen. I want to block them as much as I want anything else. And right now it doesn't sound like they're in because LeBrun is talking like Montreal's not willing to go as far as Buffalo is on the price. Like they're balking at a couple of the prospects that St. Louis might be asking about. And I was excited about this move that I turned on St. Louis Sports Radio yesterday. And Jeremy Rutherford was on there, one of the big Blues insiders. And the 2 names he mentioned were Helenius and Ostlund. Like one of those 2.
Sure.
So those are your best prospects, right? One that's on the team, one that's not on the team. I mean, I would hope selfishly that it is not Ostlund.
Right, but this is exactly one of those trades where you want a player this good, it has to hurt a little bit.
Right, it's not, you're not getting him for Roseanne and a first and Jack Quinn.
Yeah.
Like that might even in the video game that might match like enough value. But he's a 26-year-old, $8 million a year, 80-point center. How many teams are going to be interested in him? You can't just pay the buy now price. You have to outbid 7 teams, 8 teams that might be interested in him. So somebody would outbid Roseanne and a first. But will somebody outbid the equivalent of 3 firsts if Helenius is one of them? And I had Chris Johnson yesterday talking about there's a 4th piece in it, like which might just be a throw-in to that deal. There
might be another piece coming this way.
That's what he said. He said like the Sabres are offering so much maybe that they are really trying to get something back on the blue line in return.
I mean, could it be Robert Thomas and Justin Falk in a certain scenario? That seems
thought
big.
About that when there was a rumor that maybe Owen Power could be in the deal.
I don't buy that for a second.
I don't either. I thought, okay, would the deal be a first and Power straight up for Thomas and Falk? Like he is them getting younger at the position, but the Sabres not getting worse on the short term is the value of the trade that is going back to the Blues. But if I'm the Sabres, why do I want to do that? I have a surplus of good young forwards that are 21 years old, 22 years old, or younger. I have 4 great defensemen. I don't really have a surplus there. So I don't want to take away from that if I'm the Sabre. I don't want to think about Power. I guess that would open you up to pay Byram long term if you wanted to do it, but it's not my favorite idea at all. And it seemed like that got walked back pretty quickly.
For me, the idea of trading one of your 4 defensemen, if it was going to be one of the 4, it would be Byram.
Yeah. And Rutherford said yesterday that the Blues are not in on him.
No, that they were maybe a year ago, but not now. Okay. as soon as I saw any sort of package including Owen Power, I thought, I don't believe it. I thought our YouTube chat, the bullpen, is going to love talking about the idea of trading Owen Power because they talk about that every day.
It's probably happening right now.
There's just absolutely right. I was thinking Power for Robert Thomas. I know that's not a 1-for-1, but the idea that it would be the equivalent of 3 firsts and one of those firsts is Owen Power to me sounds nuts. I just don't think they would do that.
Because he's equivalent beyond a first-round pick.
Yeah.
If you were trading him today as a seller, you would get more than a first-round pick.
Yes, that's right. So. And it's also all the points about not wanting to upset anything. I heard Bulldog make this point yesterday and thought it was bang on, which is I don't want to hear anything about, oh, careful, don't upset your chemistry unless you're making that point about the top 4 defense you got. I don't want to mess that up. Like that's where I would say, yes, I have a really good thing going here. And the idea is to kind of backfill it on the third pair or just give it somebody that can jump in there in the event of an injury. Mm-hmm. It's not to take one of those guys out of the top 4. I'd be stunned if Power was moved in this kind of deal. I just don't think the Sabres would – I would flat out say I would want to do it if Power's involved in this deal. So we'll see if they get it home. I mean, yesterday was a day of is it going to happen before the game? Is it going to happen after the game? Will somebody get pulled out of the lineup? He has to waive his no-move clause. Okay.
50. I think he's got a 15-team no-trade clause, maybe.
Yeah. Okay. Could he waive the no-trade clause to come to Buffalo? My thought is yes. He's from not far away, so that's that.
Yeah, a couple hours away.
Doesn't that help?
Ontario.
Is it Aurora, Ontario? All right. That's got to help a little bit.
I did do a fist pump when I saw where he was from yesterday.
Ontario?
Like, oh, that should help. Help me a little bit.
Might help a little bit. Get the family here to see some games.
I'm not gonna lie. I looked at his Instagram followers yesterday.
Okay.
Like, does he follow any? He follows Tage.
All right, good.
Which would make sense. They were in the Blues organization at the same time. They probably know each other.
Right.
Can Tage make a call? Can Josh Allen make a call?
Don't the Sabres have a little bit to offer these days? Like, hey, listen, we've got a couple of Olympians. We're in the playoffs. We're trying to win. If you call him, it's not like this is Jarmo if he strikes this deal. If he gets this deal done, it's the moment I had some power, I made sure I used it. Mm-hmm. Because when he took over this job, we would have all said, listen, they're okay. They've won 3 in a row. That's really where they were. Where were they in the standings at that point? Outside of the playoffs, looking in and needing to jump like 6 teams. When Jarmo got the job, our conversation about Alex Tuck was, if you get to 9th, should you keep him to try to make the playoffs? Yes. To which I said, yes, there's value in finishing 8th. And now, of course, like he hasn't even really done anything roster-wise, and they're in a much stronger position.
They were tied for last place in the Eastern Conference, 6 points out of a playoff spot with 7 teams to jump.
Having won 3 in a row.
Yeah,
they had won 3 in a row to be in last.
Yep.
And since then, they've been great, and I would just really respect it if Jarmo went in there and just pulled something off saying, I got power for a moment. I got, not Owen Power, but I had trading power. I have a moment where a player of this caliber with a no move might say, yeah, looks like you guys got a good thing going. Let's do it. And if you're Robert Thomas in St. Louis, how far would they get down the road before they talk to him? Jeremy Rutherford did say he was not approached to waive his no move yet. It can't keep going into day 2 and day 3 of negotiations. Why waste our time? Right. I feel like you would have to know this player is going to waive his no move. If the Blues come to him and say, we got the deal, he'll say, all right, let's go. Otherwise, wouldn't they stop talking?
I think so. I mean, especially it prolonging that long in the day, that Thomas would see it. His agent would see it. And if they were really opposed to the idea of coming to Buffalo, they'd shut it down pretty quickly. I think, wouldn't it be, what would it serve them to prolong the idea of the Sabres trading for them from the Thomas end of things if they didn't want to be here? So I feel like that could have been shut down very quickly, and it wasn't. I mean, overnight you still had all the insiders talking like the Sabres are the frontrunners here and that they are willing to go to a price that right now a lot of these other contenders for it aren't willing to go to, other than it sounds like from all these guys that Utah is willing to go there, but Utah is in their division, and maybe you get the benefit of St. Louis not wanting to trade him in their own division.
Perfect.
So
that helps.
That would help a lot. I just think on the general concept also of going for it, that you alluded to this a little bit yesterday. This could be their best shot at it. You don't want to think that way because they are young, and you want this to be a 5-year period minimum of the Sabres being good and in contention. But it is definitely possible this will be their best look at it. Answer me these questions. Do you know how good their goalies are going to be next year?
No.
Do you know who their head coach is going to be next year?
No.
Do you know if Alex Tuch's going to be here next year?
I do not.
Florida going to be good next year?
Probably. Like, that's 4 boxes next year that, I don't know, any of those things that are going well for you right now, it could be different. I don't know who their head coach would be next year, if Lindy's going to come back, and if the guy they would replace him with would be a positive influence on the group. I have no idea what the goaltenders are going to do, and I think Florida probably would be great again next year. Barkov back, and they'll make a couple offseason moves, I'm sure. Ottawa, I would expect to be better next year. They are good this year. They just can't get any goaltending, and will they figure that out by next season? Like, right now, the way the conference is structured, and Tuch at this point, especially if they trade for Thomas, like, this is it for Alex Tuch. Yep.
So you're not going to have Robert Thomas and Alex Tuch on the same team for more than a couple of months if they pull that trade off. So in that way, it's the strongest that your group will probably be. I just think the way the conference is set up, it gives you every reason to want to go for it. You're third. You're the third best team right now on paper. I don't know if they'll ever be the third best team again. Maybe they settle in as they're the 5th best team in the East for a long time. Or maybe there are years where they're 10th. I just think this would be a year you should be willing to go for. If the playoff drought did not exist, I don't even think it'd be a debate. If they've been making the playoffs 2-3 of the last 5 years, and then we're having this season, and the conference around them, Toronto takes a step back, Florida takes a step back, what would we be saying? They should go for it.
Yeah.
And that's this trade.
It is wild how many people will say the line, because insiders all day talking yesterday. Well, do you want to be careful? You got a good thing going. Why would you change anything?
Look, Jeff Merrick said that with us yesterday. I respect Jeff a lot.
Me too.
But I can't get on board with that mindset.
It's just a refrain that's kind of said around certain teams. You know, there are a lot of different comparisons or parallels to other teams, and like, who's allowed to trade? That's what I would ask.
Right.
Well, you've won too many games to trade. Oh, all right. They're too good to trade? Is Colorado allowed to trade? They're in first. I mean, they got off to this incredible start and maybe haven't been as good since, but it's just so funny. Hockey does this all the time. They've won too many games. They actually look too good to try to get better.
Well, I think just even the fact that they are this far along in the Robert Thomas sweepstakes tells you that Jarmo Kekalainen is not thinking that way. Right?
Yep.
He's not worried about disturbing the chemistry that would be affected by bringing in a really good player to the group. He's bidding. He's outbidding everybody.
And he's bidding big.
Right now, right? And I saw this point made by somebody along the way. I don't know if this was like a report on what he's heard or just like an analysis of it, but that Jarmo would want to put his own stamp on this team.
Oh, sure.
Which I don't know him personally other than the couple of press conferences he's done. I don't know how he's wired in that way. But a lot of human beings would look at this right now and say, yeah, I want my bit of credit for this too. And I would my own stamp. You know, like, I don't want the playoffs to go by and be like, oh, that was a Kevin Adams team. Like, if I add Robert Thomas and he's great, then I made my own influence on the team in a positive way.
Yeah, it doesn't even have to be about ego. It can just be, I think this team would be a lot better if I made this move. And then we're the ones to say, well, there's his stamp on the roster.
Right.
803-0550 is our phone number. Larry, George, we'll get to your calls on the other side. The latest on Robert Thomas and the pursuit there, the player they'd be getting. We've got Bills news to get to. Trey Hendrickson will hit the open market. Another defensive player of significance, Jonathan Greenard. Looks like he's available in Minnesota. We've got Joe Marino, the Locked On Bills podcast, coming up at 7 o'clock. We'll check in with Paul Hamilton later as well. Christian Benford in the 9 o'clock hour. He's got something going on I want to tell you about, too. Jeremy and Joe, Sabres win. Eichel booed, but at the right times.